good day. To start with, let's have a short prayer. Let's bow our head and feel the presence of the Lord. Lord our God, Father of light, with your assistance, we will study patiently and perform our duties conscientiously. For your greater honor and glory, grant us a bright intellect, a sound judgment, and a retentive memory. Amen. May I please everyone to turn on their cameras so that I can see your beautiful faces. Thank you, and you may turn it off as we start the discussion so that you can save your data. And may I remind everyone that no one is allowed to take a recording or screenshots unless you are permitted to. Understand? Alright. And take note that I will take a screenshot before we end our discussion so that I have a record for today's attendance. Now, who can remember the lesson that we have tackled last session? Can anybody share it to the class? Alright, we tackled about verbs. Verbs are action words, and it is necessary in creating a sentence or very important in grammar. Now, we're going to have an activity. Let's have an activity first. So, are you familiar with Who Wants to Be a Millionaire game show? Great! Because now we're going to have this game as an activity. But first, let's have the mechanics of the game. First, prepare a sheet of paper. I want you to have your ball pen and paper with you. Second, allot yourself 10 seconds to answer every question. You have only 10 seconds to answer each question. And third, honesty is the best policy. And lastly, enjoy and good luck. Okay, for the first question, this is worth 200,000 pesos. Which model would you use? I blank return, MacArthur said. A will, B should, C could, D shall. Alright, your time is up. It's letter D, shall. I shall return, MacArthur said. Let's proceed to the next question. This is worth 400,000 pesos. Which model would you use? You blank think again before you ask to drink. A may, B should, C must, D need to. Alright, the answer is letter B, should. You should think again before you ask to drink. Congratulations! Let's proceed to the next question. This is worth 600,000 pesos. Which model would you use? He blanked no more about his enemies. A ought to, B needs to, C have to, D did to. Alright, the answer is letter A, ought to. He ought to know more about his enemies. Now for the next question, this is worth 800,000 pesos. Which models would you use? This question has two answers. I blank study every night. So I blank pass the test. A must, need to. B should, ought to. C have to. Any. D will, can. Alright, your time is up. It's letter D, will, can. I will study every night so I blank or I can pass the test. So congratulations, you made it for the final question. Who wants to be a millionaire? This is worth 1 million pesos. Which models would you use? The question has also two answers. there blank be a connection between and among people in this diverse world, and blank be focused on building ties. A should would, B must should, C will should, D would must. Alright, your time is up. It's letter B. Must, should. There must be a connection between and among in this diverse world, and should be focused on building ties. So, congratulations, everyone. Now, for our discussion, let me share my screen to you. Hello, how are you today? I hope that you are all doing great. I am very excited to talk with you on class, and I am very pleased to welcome you on our online synchronous class for grade 9 English Anglo-American Literature. So our topic for today is about models. Could, can, may, might, should, ought to, would, shall, will, must, and have to are the common ones, or these are the models that we usually use. But now, for today's lesson, we're just going to focus on models of expressing permission, obligation, and prohibition. So here starts the lesson. Are you excited? I hope so. Now, what are modals? A modal verb is so essential in English language. Utterances like making requests, offer, asking permission, ability, and more uses modal verbs in conversation. It gives emphasis to what the speaker wants to convey. They are a special type of auxiliary verbs. They alter or complete the meaning of the main verb. They can also indicate the level of formality in the conversation. Now let's move on to the first model, the model of permission. Can, could, and may. We use can to ask for or give permission to do something. For example, can I ask a favor, please? Then we use could, which is more formal and polite than can. For example, could I ask for a glass of water? Lastly, we use may, which is another more formal and polite way of asking permission. For example, may I go out? Now let's move to models of obligation. Must, have to, should, and ought to. First, we use must and have to say that it is necessary to do something. For example, you must hurry. Okay? Next one is everyone have to obey the law. So here, the examples shows necessity. But now under obligation is suggestion. The models should and ought to are used to make suggestions, give advice, or express moral obligation. For example, we should do our homework. You ought to respect the opinion of others. So take note that suggestion is under the models of obligation. For the last models, we have the models of prohibition. cannot, and must not. We use cannot and must not to express something that is forbidden. Okay? For example, you cannot use your phone while taking the test, meaning you are not allowed to use your phone while having the test. Next one is you must not tell anyone about my secret. Here, I forbid you to not tell anyone about my secret. So I hope that you understand well the three models of expressing prohibition, permission, and obligation, because we're going to move on the basic rules to avoid mistakes. Okay? I'm going to discuss this for you to be able to have a correct grammar using the modal verbs. Okay? The first rule, make sure of that um, the modal verb is used as is. Don't change the present, past, future form. Okay? For example, she can dance. And the wrong example is she can't dance. In here, it became wrong when the students add s on the end of the modal verb, which is not correct. Okay? Next, basic rule is that use base verb after modal. Don't use to. Okay? The example is that for correct sentence, he must join us. And the wrong sentence is he must to join us. In here, um, we do not use the full infinitives. Okay? The word to join. You just use the um, base verb, which is join after the modal verb must. Okay, take note of that because this basic rule is very essential for you to be able to use these models. For the last basic rule, we have take note that just use not after models. Don't use don't or isn't, doesn't, because some students use these lovely words or flowery words to make their sentence sounds flowery on ears, and it is wrong because sometimes they commit errors by um, putting together all these modal verbs on their sentence. Okay, the example here is you should not smoke, which is correct. The wrong one is you don't should smoke. The only exception here of using don't is if you use the modal verb have to. For example, you don't have, okay? And the rest, um, you should use the not. You should not. You cannot. You might not. You must not. Okay? And just take note that cannot is a one word. It cannot be separated. Okay? So to sum it all, today we discussed about the models of expressing obligation, permission, and prohibition. For our activity today, I will use the breakout room here, and Zoom will automatically split the class participants automatically. So we will use the breakout room here because you're going to have a role play, and I will give you 15 minutes to do brainstorming. So for group 1, it's telephone call, group 2, campaign, group 3, teacher and student conversation. Alright, thank you. Now for our closure, what insight can you share to the class? Or what have you learned from the lesson for today? Alright. A modal verb is used to express permission, obligation, and prohibition. And it's used to convey a message and used in the conversation. Okay. Now for your assignment, I want you to make a reflection and you post it on our Facebook page. That's all, and thank you. Have a nice day, everyone.